Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Scarpa Terra Gore-Tex boots. So these boots aren't Scarpa's most premium boot. You can actually pick them up for about 123, 130 pounds if you look in the right places on the internet. I've had these boots for a long time, about 4 years now, and I have done plenty miles in them, and that's why they look pretty beaten up. So I feel like I can give you a proper, good, in-depth review on this boot. I can say, hand on heart, these are the comfiest boots that I have ever worn in my life. Like I say, I've done 4 years in these boots, and I've had them up mountains, in rivers. I've had them everywhere. I actually used this boot to complete climbing Snowdon 5 times in 21 hours, and I didn't actually get any blisters or anything. They were paired with some merino wool socks for that, but even still, they were absolutely amazing. I covered over 4,000 meters in elevation and over 40 miles, and they held up perfectly. Now, you might notice that there are a couple of things different with this boot. I've changed the laces on this boot. That was just for personal preference. I find that the black laces are a little bit more aesthetically pleasing on the eyes, and I also find that these laces, you know, once tied, stay tied a little bit better than the ones that come with the boot. As well as that, I read a lot of reviews online about the insoles not being the best, so I decided to upgrade the insoles, and we've got, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but some cushion step insoles, and to be honest, once these are fitted, it feels like you're walking on clouds. With the right insoles, these boots are amazing. That being said, with the original insoles, they're not really that bad. It's just, again, personal preference if you want to choose to upgrade them. In terms of flexibility and rigidity in the boot, these boots are definitely not your stiffest boots. They are aimed for paths and trails at your maybe local walking centre or wildlife reserve. They're not meant for, you know, long days up in the mountains, but that's what I have used them for, and it turns out, depending on what kind of boot you're looking for and whether you can cope with a flexible boot, then they are actually okay. So in terms of flexibility, you can see I can almost fold the toe, well, I can fold the toe pretty much all the way in on itself. Pretty sure that's not too good for the boot, so I won't do it too much. In terms of rigidity through the sole and rotation, there is also quite a bit there. Now, they do have a Vibram sole, and the grip on this sole is decent. It's not the best, it's not the worst. In terms of walking on different surfaces, I've had them in thick mud, wet grass, wet rocks, mossy rocks. I've had them in snow and a bit of ice. They've been decent. They haven't actually worn down that much, so in terms of durability, the sole is pretty good, but if traction is your main thing, then I would probably look at something like the Scarpa Delta Gore-Tex Actives, which I do have another review on, or maybe something like the Scarpa SL Actives. Scarpa's leather, to me personally, with the boots that I've experienced, Scarpa's leather is unmatched. It is amazing in terms of durability, waterproofness, and I have nothing but high regards and the best things that I could possibly say about Scarpa leather boots, and these are included in that. These boots have leather which is 2 millimeters thick, again, not the thickest. That's why there is quite a lot of flex in the boot, but that being said, it's still very durable. As you can tell from the front of the boot, I have had a lot of scuffs. Some of these scuffs are quite deep, but they haven't been able to penetrate the boot after 4 years of use. Although the stitching has taken a bit of a battering, it is actually in good condition. The leather has not started to crack, and I think that's probably also down to the fact that I have taken really good care of these boots and made sure that they are waxed and the leather is nice and moisturized, especially if they are stored for long periods of time without being worn. If you take a closer look at the tongue, you can see the tongue is a gusseted tongue, which means up until this point in the boot, it is completely waterproof and nothing is going to get inside or into the boot. So the Scarpa Terras don't actually have Scarpa's speed lacing system. and personally I prefer that. The speed lacing system on a lot of the other Scarpas means that the laces are quite easy to pull through the eyelets. This means that if you have your boots done up in such a way that means you have different tension in different parts of the boot, then this can potentially become loosened because the laces actually pass through the eyelets so easily. With these, that you find if you have created tension in a certain part of the boot, that tension seems to stay there. And personally, that's why you're putting the tension there, so that's really important to me. In terms of how heavy these boots are, they are really not that heavy, but you're not going to notice these boots on your feet at all, like some of the heavier boots that Scarpa offer. So in terms of aesthetics, I think it's only right if I whack these boots on and show you what they look like on my feet. And then after that, we'll head for a quick waterproof test and we'll go stomp around in a river for a few minutes. I actually haven't worn these boots for a long time, since Snowdon, and oh my God, they are just so comfy when you first put them on. They're my old faithfuls, and if I ever do any long endurance events, these are what I put on. So these are the boots on. You can obviously make your mind up whether you like them to look at or whether you don't. That is completely up to you. And you can see the flexibility in the boot. There is a lot of bend through that midsole. Right then, I think it's time to go stomp around in some rivers. Let's go. Right then, this spot looks absolutely perfect. Time to give them a test. Now I suppose you'll just have to take my word for it that my feet are dry, but they are. I haven't actually waxed these boots in a long time, probably a couple of months, so to see the water beading off quite so nicely is a good sign. And yeah, I can't even feel the coldness coming through. It is towards the end of January, so there is still quite a lot of cold that you should be feeling in the water, but no, nothing, feels okay. So all in all, with them being exceptionally waterproof, these are a great, fantastic boot. Probably the comfiest boots I have ever owned and will ever own. Would I recommend them to you? Yes. Still go and try them on and see if they fit, but for me, it's a no-brainer. Absolutely gorgeous boots. If you enjoyed this video, guys, like, comment if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or even feel free to subscribe if you enjoy the content that I keep putting out. Take care, guys, until next time.